This podcast is brought to you by the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault, an organization committed to providing leadership, vision, and resources to those who work to eradicate sexual violence in our communities.
This month, throughout the United States, throughout California, people are recognizing Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I really appreciate all of you coming out and being able to talk about this. I'm David Lee, and I'm with the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault. We're the professional association of all the rape crisis centers and rape prevention programs throughout California. And what we're doing is we're committed to being able to look at how we can be able to address sexual assault, not just in April, but throughout the year. Now, we call it Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but what I know is that it takes a lot more than being aware to be able to prevent this from happening. And so we have to go beyond what we're aware of, and we need to be able to think about what action we're going to take. And that action is crucial for us to be able to make those changes. So we are aware that sexual assault hurts one, yet affects all. That it's not just the person who's been assaulted, but it can affect your entire unit. It can affect your entire family. It can affect your entire community if someone is being assaulted. We're aware that rape is a serious problem, not just in the military, but in all of our communities. And that you just heard about how we saw increase the number of reported rapes within the military, and that really shows, I think, the commitment of the military to bring more awareness to this issue. And I've been working with the Department of Defense and also doing some work with the Army, who I see well represented here, to be able to working on developing plans around prevention. We're also aware that the consequences of rape are serious. But what do we do? We also are aware that we can do better, that we can be able to do something about this. I've been doing this work for going on over 25 years now. So I want you to go back in time 25 years, if you can. Some people. I wasn't going to go around it. 25 years ago, were we talking about this? Was it a problem? It was absolutely a problem. It just wasn't something we were recognizing. It wasn't something we're talking about. Yet we're seeing an amazing change. So what I want to think about is what we can do. Now, I am a parent of a 14-year-old. How many of you have kids? How many of you have teenagers? How many of you teenagers have really good thumb muscles because they know how to, right? They learn that really important skill. So the newest research shows that 93% of teenagers are online, and that 36% of them go online many times a day. And then according to the studies last year, teens are on 31 hours a week. I don't believe that because, well, let me give an example. My son's sitting in front of the computer. He's on Facebook on one page. He's also listening to music on iTunes. He also has his phone out texting people. And he also has out another device. And you know what I'm talking about? And we think we're good at multitasking. So we see that young people are online. And yet what's online then becomes a lot of issues. And how many of you have heard of what sexting is now the new term, transmitting pictures or inappropriate actions? And we see a lot of harassment going online, and that we see a lot of this happening. And so we want to think about what we can do and recognize that sexual assault is something that's now transcended, and sexual abuse has transcended just the physical, and also now has entered into our electronic realms. That's probably not a surprise. So we have to think about what do we do as parents to be able to address this? How do we be able to promote safety? So there's a fabulous campaign that's going on that's called that'snotcool.com. And what it is, and check out this website, it's really great. It's designed for teenagers to talk about the digital divide, to talk about what's appropriate behavior to do online, what's okay to be able to do and what's not all right. When people start harassing people online, they're trying to solicit, have you do things that you're uncomfortable with, that's a place that we don't go. We don't have to be able to do. And then we see online there are ways of doing things. Now, I happen to believe, I actually got totally into it. We were talking about Twitter on the way. I love Twitter. I'll probably tweet about speaking here today. On Facebook, it will undoubtedly be my status. Got to come here. Networking is good. It's good connecting with people. What we need to do is make sure we do it safe. Because what we know is that the real risk that gets associated with online is actually not these stranger predators online, to catch a predator on TV. Those happen, but those are the real exception. The real problems are people that they know. And it's the same with all sexual assault. That we know that most sexual assaults take place between someone they know, and that we need to be able to think about how we protect them. So when we're talking to our kids, we want to think about how we have guidelines and support for them to be able to be online safely. Not to say don't do it, but how to do it safely and to be able to have those conversations. Now, after this, I'm going to another meeting. And the next meeting is talking with a campaign that's called Coaching Boys into Men. And what it is, it's a campaign around teen dating violence prevention. But what it's doing is trying to engage coaches to talk about these things. Because we know that we need to be able to talk about these topics to be able to prevent them. And that we need to be able to give those messages. So there's a really great resource. They have this whole card series for coaches. These are little, anyone here coach? We've got a few here. And you have kids who do sports. Okay, we know that. And the coach is a real important thing. Now, I tried the coaching thing, and was such a bad pitcher in coach pitch, I hit half the team, my own teammates. So all these 7-year-olds were not too happy to have me pitching. But I wanted to be able to be part of that because I knew that coaching is not just about the skills of sports, but it's also about sportsmanship. It's also about how you get along. It's about how you're a team. And it's those important messages that we need to be able to get across. And that this work in something like Coaching Boys into Men is another way that we can be able to find ways to give the message of prevention. Next week, on the Capitol steps, CALCASA is going to be having our Denim Day at the Capitol. What we do, this has been going on since 1999. Here's one little graphic, so no slideshow here. But Denim Day, it came in 1999. It was in response to a court case in Italy, where a woman was raped, and there was a court case, and the judge said a rape couldn't happen because she was wearing tight jeans, therefore it couldn't have been a rape. And people were aghast. So what happens is every year that people wear jeans, this will be on April 21st, wear jeans that day. And so on the Capitol, all the legislators will be wearing jeans, all the staffers will be wearing jeans. They love it because it's the only day they get to wear jeans. And then we're going to be able to talk about sexual assault prevention. Because it's a topic that affects all of our communities. We have to be able to get engaged to be able to make that difference. So that this becomes another way that we can be able to make a difference. And so what I see is that I really appreciate, and I want you to think about what actions that you can be able to take, and how you can be able to support this, not just both in your military life and in your civilian life, because we all can be able to make differences. And by able to raise the issue, by being able to recognize when this happens, to be able to provide support, and let people know that they can get help, to be able to interrupt behaviors that are not acceptable, we can be able to make a difference. And I've really appreciated as I've been looking at the United States military making a really strong commitment. And I've had the opportunity, a few weeks ago, my colleague Robert Coombs, we had a chance to be able to speak to 600 members of the leadership of the Army, talking about the I Am Strong campaign that you can see over there. And that we can be able to talk about how we need to be able to make that change, to really congratulate the work the military is doing so far, and now to think about how we integrate this in our everyday life. Because, as we know, being aware of sexual assault is only the first step. Preventing it is going to take action. So I really encourage you and support you to look at action.
Thank you for listening. This episode was brought to you by the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault. For more information about CALCASA's mission, or to show your support, please visit our website, calcasa.org. That's CALCASA.org. If you'd like to watch or listen to other presentations like this one, you can subscribe to our podcast feed. Visit www.calcasa.org/feed/podcast.